I'm just gonna refresh my screens real quick, make sure that we're in lab. You can see the stream. I'm gonna do a Discord announcement. I'm doing it off my phone. I'm not logged into Discord on this computer. Market's been choppy. You got one person in on the stream. You guys smash that like button. Let me know that you're here. Talk to me. Say what's up. I'm gonna lead this stream a little differently today, just because we're seeing things happening in both markets, right? Let me just do the stream, everyone. Stream is live. All right. So we're seeing things happening a little differently. Do you have EWD pulled up? I'll talk about this a little later. But I'd showcase this thing happening on the S&P, right? We're looking at ES futures. And I mentioned the dip down to this red MA, right? And you guys in Discord, you know what MA I'm using. If you don't and you're a VIP, let me know and I'll share it, right? So we've seen these pullbacks to it. This is the first time we see one of these pullbacks since the election dip, right? And I'm not going to say like, oh, we're in a bear market, unless we're closing below it on the daily, right? And here we see like COVID wasn't a bear market. This was 2009, right, where we consolidated at it, and then came up, rejected on a major swing, and that was pretty much a bear market, right? And the other bear market was going to be like 2000, right? And we saw some kisses to it, right? And then rejection at it. And that's when it was like bear market until it wasn't, right? So, looking at this now, I bought some calls like last week, early in the week, when we touched it here. And I took some profit on them today. I still have some further out calls, but more importantly, what we're seeing is we're seeing a trend break on the daily, right? And this could set us in one of those larger 61.8 swings where we see something, where we see one more leg up, right? Possibly even an extended leg to 45.18, right? So that's going to be possibly the next stop. So seeing this on the S&P, that lets us know that we might see a risk on again. Hey, Cooley, what's up? We might see a risk on again. What I mean by that is inflow back into the market, right? People taking on risk, assuming risk again. Why is that important? That's important because it's going to affect crypto too, right? So we look at something like BTC today, and is this rally for real? Are we going to break out? Is this going to take off, right? Well, there is a high likelihood possibility, right? Now, as of last Friday, I was saying, as of last Friday, saying like this, we're in this triangle. It hasn't really broken. The one time it tried to, right? Our fib over here at 37.776, right? Held up. And it said, nope, up back you go. Now we're seeing resistance of 49.12. So think if that breaks, if this breaks, resistance breaks here, we see another leg with the ES, we could possibly start seeing an upwards retracement, right? It wouldn't be an extension until it breaks above, but we probably see an upward retracement to. I'm not going to put a target on it yet until we break, right? Until this 44,695 become support. I'm not going to set a target if we break out of this triangle. What's up, Delilah? Looking at well, I'll check out the alts. What's up, Boss Hog? I saw your message on TradingView this morning. That's what I'm seeing on BTC. Interestingly, ETH, like looking at the daily RBI, it's kind of retesting this trend line, right? But when I add RBI or our swing indicator, relative breadth index, it's looking really interesting, right? It's looking like it's setting up for a big move. So we could see potentially a big move happening and markets, right? The one thing that's throwing me off is like, why is the most bullish token been selling off and the major is rallying? Are we seeing some kind of dominance flip, right? I haven't checked in the BTC.D. We look at something like Luna, which has been our most bullish token, and it's struggled the last few days. Struggling right now, right? Meanwhile, ETH BTC printing like 6-7% candles, Luna's down. So there's definitely something funky going on in this market. Something's bull trapping and something's bear trapping, and we got to figure out what it is, or maybe we don't figure out what it is, but just gonna be prepared for a break in either direction, right? I mean, this thing can probably sell off a little bit more. I did post on Twitter to buy the dip right at the 61.8 right here, right at 85.56, and I bounced off of it twice, got into a rally mode, but then it got sold right back off at the following 61.8. So this market is very much looking undecided, right? So best thing to do is like kind of stick to the basics still. Long support, right? And short resistance until it's no longer. So that's that. That's what I have. Do you have a bottom? Looking at Jasmine. Let me go ahead and get to Boss Hogs request. I mean, maybe, man, but like, I don't. I think I said I didn't like it because I couldn't quite fib it because it was just too ridiculous. Yeah, man, like, there's no way I would trade this. If you can trade it, good for you, but I'm not touching something like that. I don't even want to analyze this chart. Did we come to this conclusion last time? I forgot what I said about this chart. Maybe, possibly 11.7. I think if 0.019 holds a support, then maybe you have a bottom. It might just be another bearish retracement. It's going to stop at 231 and come back down, right? When style, I haven't done NQ. Let's hop into NQ. So I looked at ES, I looked at BTC and ETH, and QQQ is looking similar to BTC. I think Qs have the strongest rebound potential right now because tech has been the most sold off. It's sold off to practically dust, right? Look at Facebook, you look at PayPal, you look at, I mean, we went from a highly overvalued market to a market that doesn't even know what it's doing, right? Interestingly, I think Qs need to make a push, right? And literally like up to 14,169, 14,180 to get out of this funk. You got to get above this MA on the Qs. Historically, right? I mean, we're still in that downtrend. This hasn't broken. The S&P broke. The NQ has not, right? It's sort of wedging. I'm not going to call this a wedge because, I mean, based on the daily closes, it is a wedge. But if we include wicks, then it's just a parallel channel. But we do want to see tech start squeezing. We want to see one of those violent legs up that gets us above this MA, right? Like something like here we get. I don't even want to see consolidation. I just want to see squeezing right now out of tech. Because we're below the MA, right? I'm still looking for this move, even if we're going to go into a recession. Or, yeah, even if we go into a recession, I still want to see this move that clears the MA and sends us back above into a major swing 61.8, right? At that point, I'd be comfortable. If we get rejection there, I'd be comfortable buying puts way down here, way next year, right? that's how I'd play the short. But I do think we need to see that squeeze above, and I've been saying this, right? I've been saying this on the ES, and we have not made a new low, which is nice. At least to like the 15196 on Qs. I don't know how much lower they can short things when like hasn't been even bull trap, right? Like you need a relief rally so your short's more profitable, or else you're just loading up short on top of short, and it could squeeze real bad, like AMC and GME last year, right? You don't want to see that on Facebook. You don't want to see that on the tech stocks. All right. Covered BTC, Ether, NQ. Let's look at gold. All right, I still have my gold shorts open. Still shorting this Ponzi. All right, so interestingly on gold, right, it went above my mental stop, and I decided to just let it run, right? I did think this was a blow off. Now, looking at this, we could see a continuation move here, right? Like if I was to hedge my short, I'd probably want to look for maybe along at 1883, possibly 1820s, right? The idea is if this is, if we had this is our breakout, right? And we're going to see some kind of breakout continuation, then we're going to see a smaller 61.8 retrace, maybe not necessarily to the trend line, but up to here. And looking at like BTC, it did a few of these just last few days, like yesterday and today, it did it twice, where, damn, those are good fibs. Let me do a different chart. Super good fibs. All right. So where we did see, right, we saw a false breakout, right, and then we saw a sell-off, and then we saw a turn at 39K, right, and it looks like it's supposed to be a continuation because we're above the 61.8. Meanwhile, what did we see again today on that breakout? Right, I think we're seeing another 61.8 on that breakout, right? So looking at these small time frame type moves, I would only expect gold to act similarly on a larger time frame, right? And I'd want to look for support at some of these zones. So I'm just going to draw some lines if I do want to hedge my short, right? So we're going to put it right here and do one of these. So 1886 to 1872, that's going to be my interest area, and possibly getting in late on this breakout or buying the dip on this breakout on gold. What else in terms of puts? Like I put that in like the flip, and it was a bulver. Hit me with some charts, guys and gals. Give me something. I'm just looking at charts behind me to get some ideas. So, Boss Hog, I didn't like that chart just because it didn't give me anything I can trade, right? So that's why I didn't like it, because I couldn't interact with it, even if I wanted to. All right. One thing I'm looking out for, especially now with like the cost of nickel, production costs going up, is Lissy Life Cycle, right? This is one of my EV picks because they're one of a few EV battery recycling companies, right? And we're starting to get above that 61.8 over here at 8.33. So, continuation here, then we probably have a breakout and a move to $10. And I'm trading the $10 calls, I think June or no, January $10, and then some further out $15 ones, right? So I do think we need to get up to here. They have earnings coming up. Don't tell me it's today. I hate earnings. Shit, it's tomorrow. All right. I do hate earnings. All right. Fearhead, Luna. Man, Luna is... I don't understand it anymore. I mean, it was fibbing so great. And now it's like just shitting on everybody. You know, like the hourly's not looking happy. I think at this point, it's going to be safe to assume we get 85.50. I can see two things happening. I can see a retest to 85.50, right? And if that fails, then we're going to go slightly lower. And by slightly lower, I mean this major swing, 82.81, right? Now, why do I say this? It's just looking at what it did earlier. I was trying to get an idea of what it could do earlier in the day today, like before this stream. What I noticed was right before it went on this move, right? It did a consolidation and it kind of shook everybody out. And when it took out that lower low twice, if we extend that last range, it gives us a pivot, right? So at this point, it looks like we're doing one of these moves. So my next counter trade on Luna, big swing, is going to be 82.81. Small swing. Alright, so these are the two 85. So I'm looking for some kind of indication at 85.07. Right? Here, these zones I'm going to circle right here. 81.24 to 82.60 and 85 and 84.90, right? So I'd expect something like this if we're going to get another upwards continuation move. Let's look at ANC. Once again, started this stream covering the S&P, right? And saying that if we see a rally, we're probably going to see continuation out of a lot of things. So this looks like it's also kind of broken a trend line, broken the downtrend. It's holding at 250s, right? This can get really, I hate to say this can get pretty bullish. It's holding 250% retracements. Ideally, I'd want to see it come down to 2.36. Is there extensions that are holding us up here? Yeah, I mean, I'd look for 2.36. Dude, oil went on a rager. I was looking at that first thing this morning. Some good shorts, please. That's not how it works, man. If you see something breaking out, share the chart and I'll show you where to short it. But alright, Dash USD. Man, this chart has not shown me anything, right? And other than it's consolidating, it might go on a spot run, it might not, right? Like, it's wedging. If you just look at the closes, it's in a wedge. I think it can run to 120 and that would be like target 1, but it needs to clear this lower 61.8, which is probably resistance right now, 101, right? I think if it breaks 101, it can go to 120, but I'm not going to say anything else. And if it doesn't break 101, then it's probably going to come down to like the 70s. Zcash. It looks promising. This looks better than Dash at the moment. Maybe 186, 184, 193, 180, like this area. All right, we could see a move up to here. We're seeing 142 hold, 158 resistance. Problem is, right, we really want to see, I think these like higher risk assets, we look at things like Zeke and Cash, Zeke and Dash, they don't really like, they're not, I'm not going to call them quality or safety, right? There has been this flight to safety, and I think that's what's pushing up BTC and ETH. I just got an alert on BTC. Are we dumping or pumping? Dumping. So I think there's this flight to safety, and if your alts don't scream safety, going back to Zeke, right, then what's going to make it go up, right? There's literally a flight to quality right now. So that's what I think sentiment's doing, is it's running to quality and safety as opposed to speculation, like highly speculative. Now, can we see some kind of pump out of the crypto market just to attract like bull traps in people and exit pumps? Quite possibly, yeah, but are we going to take profit on that run, right? That's what's going to be more important. IOTX still looking down. Think we can go to 46, 48. That would be a good snag. I don't know how I feel about these. Let me do an extension. It's got room to drop, man. It looks like ADA before ADA dropped. You see that? Alright, let's look at Ford. I think Ford is quality. It's safety. It did want to see 1750 hold. It did dip below that. And you're seeing, 1639 based off this last continuation swing. I think if we get I think in terms of flight to safety, I think Ford is pretty good, right? It's better than like Dash and Zeke and stuff. And I think it's already had a phenomenal year, and now with EV and credits and stuff, hopefully their products are good. I mean, it's had a 400% year, right? And it's still up 243 off all-time high, and it's pulled back 61.8 of the last swing. I think it looks decent here. It's definitely better than 4 to 25 in terms of a buy. You're welcome, Boss Hog. Alright, fam. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to today's stream. Oh, let's look at oil. I'm going to look at CL1, crude light. I mean, oil is... I think this is just a retracement, right? It's got more room to drop. I would want to long it like when we hit 83 or something. Let's look at USO, the ETF we can actually trade. What is got like a dog nose up here, dog hair up on my nose. So what's looking on USO? I think we can drop a little bit more, right? I totally think we can. Maybe 60.18. right? That would be like a magic number. Probably 64 is going to be the depth, depending how bullish it really is. But, you know, in terms of the ETF, I still think it's hasn't really broken that trend line, right? Yeah. One thing I took, it's like a lotto YOLO play, was I took out some EWT puts a year and a half out. That's because I didn't think Putin was serious, but he was about Ukraine, and this is a Taiwan ETF. So I think if China's gonna pull the Taiwan card, I still think this is based on what it's doing now. It's holding above 60, which is a 61.8. They're on line. Then it's gonna go up a little bit, and then over here, probably add to my puts or abandoned puts 64. Right, let it run a little bit, and then maybe China invades Taiwan at 64. Here, let's do that. Check this out for a conspiracy theory prediction. China invades. See if it lines up with a fib. The market does some silly things sometimes. Like we saw 61.8 on oil a few years ago on like a Friday, and then we longed it, and then the very next day on a Saturday, so it was when Iran blew up the oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman, right? So like some funky stuff happened to 61.8. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in at today's stream. Love y'all's energy, participation, and recommendations. These are my thoughts on the market. I'll be back on Friday, same time, same place. Until then, if you want to connect, follow us on Twitter. Hop in